Hi everyone, I'm Bethany O'Connor, an executive burnout and resilience coach, and today's video is all about preventing burnout and building resilience as we transition from summer to fall. So as of the time that I'm recording this video, we've just had the fall equinox, meaning that the days are getting shorter and shorter. And one of the biggest contributors to burnout that I experienced in my own life was expecting the same level of energy, productivity, focus, and drive from one day to the next, from one season to the next. And just like nature, we see outside, nature goes through cycles, nature goes through seasons. Summer is very active and bountiful, and winter is more quiet and more inward as we experience it out in nature, right? So the same thing goes with human beings. We are very connected to nature. Fall and winter are invitations for all of us to slow down, turn inward, do less. And this is the opportunity for us to hibernate and start resting after a very, very busy spring and summer season. So this video is going to go through just some tips to help you prevent burnout and build resilience as we transition from summer to fall, with just a few easy things to think about. So let's get started. We notice now that the sun is getting up later and later, that a lot of us have to start our workday before the sun is even fully risen. Those of us in the northern hemisphere are starting to experience that. So I want to invite you to acknowledge this shift in things and let it be okay if you notice that you have less energy from one day to the next. So something I invite you to consider doing is when you wake up tomorrow, I would like you, instead of reaching for your phone or hopping right on your computer to do some work, is go to a quiet place or just stay seated in bed for the first 5 minutes of your day and literally just sit there. You can even put a hand on your heart if that makes it easier. And just sit there and just do a quiet body scan. I have one hand on my heart and one hand on the belly. And what you do during a body scan is you can start, you can go head to toe, you can go feet to head, and you just check in, how are my feet feeling right now? Is there any tension, any pain, any discomfort? Ankles, shins, knees, thighs, glutes, all the thing. You're just doing a scan of how is my body feeling today? How is my body feeling today? Okay? And is there anything my body needs for support? So maybe you're noticing a little bit of soreness and you say, oh, okay, yeah, I did some strenuous activity yesterday. I really need to stretch. Or conversely, I did a lot of sitting yesterday. I really need to do some hip stretches perhaps. So first of all, checking in to see where your body is today and meeting it without judgment and just some compassion. Number 2, I recommend spending some time, if you can, to do journaling. Now this could literally be 3 to 5 minutes, where you just write down, you just kind of check in, what's on my mind today? What did I wake up really thinking about? Is there some kind of dilemma that you're facing at work? Was there a frustrating conversation you had yesterday? Doing a brain dump in the morning helps it's almost like taking out the garbage. You're clearing space for the rest of your day by giving yourself to acknowledge what's on your mind. Okay, so take a few minutes to journal that. And once you've done that, read what you've written and say, is there any action I need to take today? So maybe you'll notice dang, this is the 3rd day in the row. I have woken up being like, oh my gosh, I have to get a birthday present for my partner that's this weekend. Or gosh, I really, really meant to send out calendar invitations for this big meeting that's happening in 2 weeks. That really has to get done today. Okay, so whatever it is, without judgment, decide if there's any action that you need to prioritize today to actually address what's going on. Number 3, I invite you to do some really, really gentle movement and some stretches. Again, you're just scanning to see where your body's at today. And if you're not feeling the stretching, I highly recommend that you go outside for a short walk. So getting about 15 to 20 minutes of sunshine, especially in the morning, helps our body's circadian rhythm, so our body's natural ability to kind of sync with nature, to sense daytime and nighttime. It's important for us to be outside. So before you log in for the day or commute to work, highly recommend a short walk. And while you're on that walk, I recommend that you don't have any headphones and you just listen to the sounds of the city or the town or the place where you're in. And just kind of take in those sounds of, maybe you hear nature, maybe you hear cars going by, maybe you see kids lining up for the bus stop. So just take a moment to connect with the environment that you live in, if that's possible. And if that's not possible, again, stretching, yoga, whatever it is to get your body moving and starting to feel grounded in for the day. Next, in terms of meeting yourself where you're at, I recommend looking at your schedule for today. Do you get a pit in your stomach because you see that you've committed to 6 meetings during the day and then you have social plans at night? Okay. Is there anything that you could potentially skip or move or delay if that feels like it does not meet your energy level? So see if there's any flexibility there, and if not, no problem. What I would do is make a note to later on that afternoon, look at the upcoming week and see if there's anything in advance you might want to skip or reschedule. Any items in your calendar that you need to take away now that we're not in that fiery, high energy time of summer. Just really acknowledge that your energy levels might be going down and you want to give yourself some space to start turning inward. Some other things that I recommend to help you transition from summer to fall and really kind of downshift all the exertive energy you've been putting out into your social and work life. Something I recommend is putting an alarm on your phone or your work calendar at least twice during the workday to go out for another 5-10 minute walk. Again, that vitamin D helps boost your mood. Vitamin D levels naturally tend to go down during the fall because we do spend less time outside and the angle of the sun is different, so the intensity factor of that sun isn't the same. So you really, really need to honor yourself, and take those walks are so important. Another thing I recommend is having a happy playlist, like energizing, fun, sweet music that just makes you happy, something that'll keep you going when you feel yourself kind of dragging in the workday or really not wanting to cook. That sometimes really helps me, having a fun playlist to cook to or walk to, whatever it is, or fun podcasts or audible books, whatever it is that you like to make things more fun for yourself. The other thing I recommend is try to spend time in the sunniest room in your apartment or your home, whatever it is. I absolutely, during the fall and winter, will start working in one room, and then as the afternoon sun goes to the western side of my home, I absolutely pick up my computer and my water and I move to the sunnier room of the house. So feel free to be flexible and revisit your work routines to make sure that you are getting all the sunny vibes that you possibly can during this time of year where things can be darker. So think about that. Also look at planning fewer things on your weekends, because now we do need more time to turn inward and recharge. So maybe during the summer you have lots of social plans on Friday and Saturday nights and Sunday morning and the whole thing. But take some time to think about, hey, is there anything I want to delete from my social calendar during this time? All right, so now we've talked about some of the things you can do for yourself. The body scan, the journaling, the walks, the stretching, getting that vitamin D, taking breaks. And now I want to talk just briefly about things you might want to avoid in order to stay burnout free during your transitions. Number one is to avoid alcohol, and that's because alcohol is a depressant. So for those of us who are more prone to having seasonal affective disorder, or the acronym is SAD. So those of us who can tend towards that side of the spectrum during the darker months, you certainly want to avoid alcohol. It is not going to do you any favors if you already struggle with some lower mood, lower energy. Also, refined sugars, those can lead to, energy spikes, energy crashes. And then again, in these darker months, it's harder to come back from those energy crashes. So if you're craving something sweet, for example, maybe make a fruit smoothie instead of going for the cupcake or the cookie. So just think about some healthy swap outs you can do instead. The other thing I recommend trying to reduce during times of transition where you may be going into a lower energy period are to reduce your screen time outside of work. Now that's for two reasons. Number one is that blue light, which is what is emitted from our phones and screens and stuff. Blue light has been connected with higher levels of depression. So the more time we spend on our devices, the more prone we are to have lower mood and depression. So what I recommend that you do is spend less time if you can, and also to make sure that you're using those blue light filtering glasses that you can get very inexpensively at the online retailer of your choice. Or you can also install the blue light filters. That's usually an app on your phone or some kind of setting, depending on if you have an iPhone, Android, whatever it is. Okay? So look at that blue light. And also what I really recommend is social media, to really go through the accounts that you follow and make sure that the people and accounts that you follow are uplifting, not things that are going to bring you down because you get sucked into comparison. So maybe looking at your friends frolicking in the snow while you're just kind of having a winter blues day, maybe that's not the best thing for you. And maybe following accounts like national parks in Patagonia, where it's always like glaciers and ice formations. Maybe that's not the best thing for you in winter months. Maybe you want to follow accounts that are more beachy and more warm weather focused, more Caribbean climate, whatever it is. And another thing I just want to say about social media in comparison is that if you are already starting to slow down and maybe feel prone to lower moods, lower energy, it is easy to get caught in that trap of comparing ourselves to our friends who are off having an amazing vacation someplace warm, or they're just totally living it up in the cold weather. Maybe social media isn't the most nourishing thing for you during this season, where you're really needing to turn inward as opposed to focusing on what other folks are doing. Okay? So this was just a short video on how to prevent burnout and build resilience during transitions. What it's all about is living a life where you are acknowledging where you are each day, as opposed to expecting same level of energy, hard driving, productivity from one day to the next. That's just not possible. It is not possible for the beautiful trees that are outside my window, and it's not possible for you and me. So just to quickly recap, think about building resilience by how you're spending your mornings, using your body. Think about taking lots of breaks during the day as you need. Think about planning fewer social things and giving yourself more time to rest and regroup in between activities. And think about cutting down on social media, screen time, alcohol, and refined sugars too, because we do tend to crave more carbohydrates during this season. And I'm not food shaming or body shaming in any kind of way whatsoever, but it's just we want to avoid the sugar spike and crash. So just things to think about. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, I'm Bethany O'Connor, and I will see you back here next time. Take care.